The United States invaded actual Mexico. So basically, you just heard Mr. Barba talk about the fact that the United States made light work of the northern territories that Mexico had. Now, this makes a lot of sense because those territories weren't developed. They really didn't have any soldiers there. So as the Americans pushed through, there wasn't really a lot of resistance. Why would there be? There weren't a lot of settlements in those regions. It's kind of just empty land. Where the real fighting is going to hit is when basically the Americans pushed into what would be mainland Mexico. So we're talking more like Mexico City as you get, really south of what we would even consider the border into what currently still is Mexico. So General Zachary Taylor led 6,000 troops into Mexico from Texas. He captured the city of Monterrey, and there Santa Anna met them with a staggering 20,000 soldiers. Now, if you think about that for a minute, that means that Zachary Taylor is outnumbered by more than 3-1 by the leader of Mexico. And you would assume that this would mean that Mexico is going to easily smash them back across the border back into America, but it doesn't go that way. The two armies clashed at a ranch called Buena Vista, and both armies took incredible casualties. But it was Santa Anna who eventually decided to retreat south and regroup. Northern Mexico had now been completely captured by the United States, using just a third of the soldiers to make it a reality. You know what I mean? They didn't even need to meet Mexico head on with 100% of their soldiers. They just needed a third. Discussion question. Are you at all surprised that the U.S. beat Mexico in the first major battle? This is going back to what Mr. Barba asked you in the last slide. What do we know about the United States as far as our track record militarily, right? We're a pretty strong country. What do we know about Mexico? Not very much. They're a baby country. How does that kind of sync up? Does that kind of go with your expectations of what you thought would happen if America fought Mexico? And basically, 1 month later, then General Winfield, is that his name? Winfield?
Winfield.
It's a weird name. Winfield Scott landed in Veracruz in southern Mexico. So basically, while basically Zachary Taylor is fighting up in northern Mexico, we were sending ships with more soldiers down into the Yucatan Peninsula area down there, real far in the south part of Mexico, dropping soldiers off. For 6 months, he and his men battled their way into Mexico's capital, Mexico City. And there the Mexicans put up a fierce resistance in the defense of their capital. But in September of 1847, the Mexicans watched in sadness as their capital city fell to the American invaders. I believe as it goes, Mexico ended up surrendering before their capital city was destroyed. So Santa Anna knew that they could put up a massive fight to really hold out in Mexico City. But in doing so, they still would have lost. And it would have absolutely decimated the city, destroyed it to the ground, cannon shots going back and forth. So they surrendered in order to save the city.
Mexico City is the biggest city in the world.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day. By the way, Mexico City is actually formerly called
Tenochtitlan.
Tenochtitlan. It's where the Aztecs lived. So even more history. The more you know.
Yeah.
Magical. All right, cool. Next slide.